Guys, here are some grown-ass habits I've seen most men doing, and I love that because that really shows maturity. Number one habit I want to talk about is looking after yourself. Looking after yourself. That means looking after yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically, and most importantly, mentally. These are important things. And most grown-ass men that I've seen, like myself, what we tend to do, we tend to pray. We tend to meditate. We tend to allocate some time in the day to just collect our thoughts and think about what's happening around us. That is such an important thing. When it comes to physical aspect, most grown-ass men, they look after themselves physically. That could be any type of sports. They're running, they're at the gym, they're doing Pilates classes, they're doing yoga. They're doing things that are good for their physical well-being. And I feel like these are important things, and I should tell you guys to keep on doing that. And also, grown-ass men, when it comes to dating, they actually are more intentional. Gets to a point in life where all this hookup culture no longer applies to you. You start thinking more like, okay, I need something I want to be more intentional with my dating. I want to be able to be with somebody who has the same love and affection that I have for them. These are things that as you start getting older, really start to think to yourself, right, this is what I want. So these are some of the grown-ass habits I've seen with most men, like people that are maturing. Okay. Number two, one thing I want to mention is grown-ass men, they tend to be accountable and responsible for their action. They don't blame on others. They don't come and say, oh, that happened because, my colleague or that friend of mine. They understand, okay, I fuck up. Let's not point making excuses about things like, oh, it was my friend. Or the only reason why this happened. And look, it's so easy for a mature man to come and say, well, the only reason this happened is because that person did that. Look, sometimes we both know it could have been someone else in that shoes that made things a bit difficult for us, but we just take accountability. We take that responsibility and we say, okay, even though that person played a small part of it, it's really truly my fault. I could have prevented that. Grown-ass men, they're responsible, they're accountable. They don't make shit up. They don't try to blame on others. They take shit for themselves. Then they understand, yeah, that's my bad. I could have done that. This is the kind of mentality you should have when you're growing up. Like, you start thinking like this. That's amazing. They don't just take bullshit for things like that. Anyways, number three, I should say, one of the things I've seen with grown-ass men, what they tend to do a lot is they tend to cook. They don't rely on takeaways. They don't rely on the girl, on the mom, on the sister, on the people around them. They tend to make their own meals. Especially with someone who's physically active, they try and do their best to make healthy meals that they know is going to be packed with proteins, packed with carbs, packed with good things that we need for our body. That is something that only grown-ass men do, guys. So really, truly, I would tell you, grown-ass men, they are in a different level. If you want to mature, to get to the next level, you gotta really pay attention to the simplest things we do in life. These are important. And one last one that I think is probably also just as important as everything else I mentioned is grown-ass men that tend and they know how to control their emotions. They're not just here flipping right, left, center, becoming angry and trying to fight somebody. They have composure. They understand this is not worth it. Why am I here arguing with this guy? Why am I entertaining this conversation? What? They know it. They know it. This is bullshit. I don't have to do this. They walk away from certain situations. But don't get it wrong. Don't mess with them, because if you think because they walk away it's stupid of them, they just know it's not worth it. But if you do something stupid like that really requires you to be punched, trust me, you will get that punch in your face. But they know it. They know when the line is crossed. When they understand it. These are small things, but when you're really a grown-ass person, you know the situation, you can access it, you can make decision based on all that stuff. You don't just go there trying to fight people. You have that composure, like, you know what, babes, it's not even a big deal. We move on. This is not worth it. They just know it. But do not try to disrespect a grown-ass man. Do not try to disrespect. They know the difference between someone who's insulting, trying to be disrespectful, and someone who's truly just a dickhead. Literally, there's differences. We can tell. So make sure you do some of these things. If you are in that position where you want to become a bit more mature, this is where it comes. Maturity, sometimes you don't have to wait until you get to a certain age for you to say, I'm more mature. No, you can be old and still be mature. So you need to start practicing these habits to make you a better person. So anyways, I will catch you guys in my next video. Take care and ciao. Thank you. Bye. Ciao.